JavaScript. JavaScript is nothing but a scripting language. JavaScript is a scripting language, scripting language, and it is used to create. Okay, so it is used to create interactive interactive effects. So within browsers, and JavaScript is the most popular scripting language in nowadays. Okay, so JavaScript is base for uh, all latest JavaScript frameworks. Okay, all latest JavaScript frameworks. So like AngularJS, Node.js, Backbone, and the React.js. So and so on. So number of frameworks is there. So for all these frameworks, JavaScript is the base for all these things. So a scripting language developed by Netscape. JavaScript is developed by Netscape to enable design interactive sites. Design interactive sites. Okay, JavaScript can interact with HTML source code. JavaScript can interact with HTML source code and enabling web authors to spice up their sites with the dynamic content. The features of JavaScript, the most advantages of JavaScript, advantages of JavaScript. JavaScript is very speed. Okay, so speed nothing but JavaScript is very fast because JavaScript is very fast because so JavaScript code and functions can be run immediately instead of having to contact the server, instead of having to contact the server, and wait for an answer, for an answer. Okay, JavaScript code runs in client side only. JS code runs in client side. Okay, client side only. Okay, so client side nothing but browser. Okay, so total JavaScript code will execute in the browser only. Okay, JavaScript never interact with the uh, server server code. And simplicity, JavaScript is relatively simple to learn and implement. JavaScript is easy to learn and implement. Okay, easy to learn and implement. And third one, server load. Okay, server load is reduce the burden on server. So using JavaScript, we can add functionality to the HTML pages. We can add functionality to the HTML pages, and we can write form validations, and we can communicate with the database server. We can communicate with the database server. Okay, communicate with the database server means like to insert data into the database, or to retrieve data from database. Retrieve data from database DB. Okay, uh, and much more functionalities we can do using JavaScript. And JavaScript runs in the client side only. So client side nothing but on browser. So JavaScript is the most popular scripting language and works in all browsers. JavaScript support all latest latest browsers. JavaScript supports all latest browsers, and JavaScript is a scripting language. JavaScript is a scripting language. JavaScript is a scripting language and designed to add functionality to the HTML pages. Okay, this is the definition of JavaScript. Okay, JavaScript is a scripting language and designed to add functionality to the HTML pages. And JavaScript is usually embedded directly into HTML pages. JavaScript is usually embedded directly into HTML pages. Okay, so we can execute JavaScript without any compilation. We can execute JavaScript. Okay, we can execute JavaScript without any compilation. Okay, without any compilation, and no need to purchase license. No need to purchase license. No need to purchase license. And in HTML pages, we can include JavaScript functionality by using script tag. By using script starting tag and ending tag, by using script tag, we can include JavaScript code in HTML pages. Okay, HTML pages, and also we can include JS code in body section in either body section or in header section. Okay, in header section. So anywhere we can include JavaScript code in HTML pages, either in body section or header section. So compulsory we need to use script tag to insert JavaScript code in HTML forms. Uh, Sample example. So here syntax. So we have header section and body section. Okay, header section and body section. So we can add JavaScript code in header section by using script tag, script tag, and body section also same, script tag. Suppose if you want to display some alert box using JavaScript in script tag, okay, we can write JavaScript code. This is my sample message. Okay, so like this we can write JavaScript statement in HTML forms. Use script tag to insert JavaScript code. Okay, so first of all we can do one example sample form. So create an HTML form sample. Okay, so already HTML form is created with the header section and body section. So in real-time applications, write your JavaScript code in the end of the body tag only, or you can call JavaScript files in end of the body section. Okay, call JavaScript files in end of the body section so that application performance is increased. So script tag and some alert message. So in JavaScript, we can use to insert string to insert strings. We can use double quotes or single quotes. Okay, to declare the string variables or to initialize the string values, we can use double quotes or single quotes. This is my sample message. So if you run this example, so directly it will display the message. Okay, this is my sample message. Okay, so browser is automatically compile the JavaScript code and no need to purchase the license to execute the JavaScript code in the browser. Okay, because all browsers support JavaScript. And the JavaScript functionality will execute immediately when page is loaded in the browser. Okay, so observe this form. When page is loaded completely, so JavaScript functionality is executing. So immediately JavaScript functionality also executing. So for example, you want to display current date using JavaScript. So in JavaScript we have date function. Okay, predefined date function to get the system date and time. So system date and time is now 8/8/2017 and 10:42 p.m. Okay, so next you want to display uh, current system date and time. Okay, India Standard Time. Use in alert message only date function. So this is the predefined date function to retrieve the date and time from the system. Okay, Tuesday, August 8th, 2017 and 10:42:52 seconds, and this is the India Standard Time. Okay, by using JavaScript, we are reading the and we are get the system date and time. Okay, so for example, you want to display uh, exact only month, date, okay, and year and hours, minutes only. So here, create one variable my date equal to new date. So this is the my date is the variable. Okay, so we created the variable for this date function. So next, my date dot get month, my date dot get day, my date dot get full year. One second. So here date is the predefined function in JavaScript, and so we created the object for this function, and by using this object we are getting the month and day and year. Okay, so run this example once. 7/2/2017. So get month. For this month we need to add 1, okay, plus 1, and get day. So not get day, get date. Okay, get month. For month we need to add plus 1 in JavaScript, and to get the date use get date function. Get day is the uh, day of uh, day number, okay, in the week, and get full year. So this is 2017. Okay, 8/8/2017. So now,
Can you please increase the font size?
so font size,
Yeah.
is it okay?
Yeah. Okay, sir.
My date dot get hours, my date dot get minutes. Okay, so this is the statement to display current date and time. Okay, 23 and 4 minutes. So this is the sample example to get system date and time. Okay, so without script tag, the browser will treat as pure text. Okay, so if you run this example, so without script tag. So browser will treat as pure text. Okay, date is not displaying using this statement. So compulsory we need to include script tag in the HTML form. In body section also we can write, or header section also we can write JavaScript functionality. Okay, same functionality is working in the header section also. And next feature is we can add unlimited number of script tags in header section or body section. Okay, unlimited number of script tags in body section or in header section. Okay, you can write one functionality here. Okay, and also you can write another functionality in this second script tag. So like this you can add unlimited number of script tags. So JavaScript can be put in the body section and the header section of HTML page, and the JavaScript in HTML page will be executed when the page loads. And this is not always. So for suppose if you want to display uh, system date and time when you click on the button. Okay, in that scenarios we have to use events and functions in the JavaScript. So for example, so I want to display system date time when you click on the button. Input type equal to button and value equal to display date. Okay, this is the button. So when you click on this button, just display date time in paragraph. Paragraph ID P1. So we want to display date and time in paragraph. So for this we have to write functions in JavaScript. Okay, these two statements inside function. Okay, like in Java or C Sharp. Okay, we can create functions in JavaScript also. So to create the functions in JavaScript, we need to use function keyword and followed by function name and parentheses. These parentheses are used to pass parameters to the function. And function is a block of statements to be executed multiple times, and we can reuse the functionality. Okay, we can reuse the functionality if you read the functions. So now use event button on click event. So on click is the button event. So this when you click on this button, okay, this function is executed in the JavaScript. So this is the event. Okay, this event handle this function in the JavaScript. So button, click on this. So we are displaying in alert box. So now display this result date. So this is another variable. Okay, total date is stored in result date variable. Document dot get element by id p1 dot inner html equal to result date. Okay, this is the statement creating the variable for this method, and this statement, okay, date format, we created this date format and stored in this variable result date variable. So this result date variable contains our date format, okay, month, date, year, and hours and minutes, and this is assigned to paragraph. So this is the statement. So the usage of this statement is finding the element with ID p1. Okay, document is HTML. So this total HTML document. Get element by ID is the predefined method in JavaScript to find out the HTML elements with ID p1. Okay, this is our custom ID. Okay, we can give another name and whatever you want here. Okay, this ID should be same as here. So this method find out the element in the body section in the HTML form with ID p1, and inner HTML is the property to assign the result, okay, result content to the paragraph or div elements or span elements. So now run this example. Okay, 8/8/2007, 23 and 11 minutes. So this is the example of button click event. Okay, sometimes we want to execute JavaScript function when event occurs. Okay, so that we can write functions in JavaScript. So this is the sample example. So using JavaScript, we can write in two different ways. We can write JavaScript code in two different ways. First one is external files, external files, and the second one is inline, internal. Okay, internal means our sample example. So this is internal code, and for an external calls, we need to create the .js files. We have to create .js files and write JavaScript code in that files, and call .js files in HTML, header section or body section. Okay, internal, directly we can write JS code in HTML, header section or body section. So for this two, for second one, this is the sample example. Okay, and for first one, so create one JS file, JavaScript file. So if you are using Notepad, save that Notepad with the .js extension. My script. So write our total function in .js file. If you are using .js files, no need to use script tag. Directly we can write JavaScript code within the .js files. Okay, if you are writing JavaScript code in HTML form, So we have to use script tag. Okay, if you are using .js files, no need to include script tag. So now call that JavaScript file using script tag myscript.js, and if you want to use type, you can use and close this script tag. So now run this example. Okay, same functionality is executing. Okay, this is the example of external files. And JavaScript is case sensitive. JavaScript case sensitive nothing but uh, JavaScript has some predefined functions and predefined methods and predefined okay, predefined functions is there. Okay, so once check your capitalization before you write JavaScript functions, okay, predefined functions. So this is get element by id is a predefined function in JavaScript. Here get is the small, from second word onwards first letter caps. Okay, observe this one also. In JavaScript, every function, every predefined function or custom defined function also should create like this only. First word small letters, from second word onwards first letter caps. Okay, if you are using here is small, okay, get element by id and run this example. Okay, click on button. The result is not displayed. Go to inspect and you can find the error here. Okay, one error. So document or get element by id is not a function. Okay, get element by id is not a function means, so there is no function in the JavaScript, okay, with this function name. Okay, so e caps. Okay, so now result is displaying. So check your capitalization when you write JavaScript statements. Okay, like variables, objects, and functions. Next, JavaScript statements. JavaScript statements. JavaScript statements statement is a command to the browser. Command to the browser to what to do. Okay, what to do. JavaScript is a sequence of statements to be executed by the browser. JavaScript is a sequence of statements to be executed by the browser. JavaScript statements tell the browser what to do. Again, each statement is executed by the browser in the sequence they are written. Each statement in the browser, each statement is executed by the browser in the sequence they are written. Again, the sequence they are written. So this example, so this is the three statements. Okay, this is first statement and second statement and the third statement. So these statements are executed by the browser. In the sequence, they are written. First, this statement is executed, and after that, this statement, and finally, this statement. So if you write this statement before this statement, okay, and save this and run this example. So you will get error undefined. Undefined means this result date is not defined, okay, before the statement. So before we use these variables in the JavaScript functions, compulsory we need to create these variables, and after that we can use that variables. So by using var keyword, compulsory we need to create the variables. After that we can use. So directly don't use variable names without creating using var keyword. So we created this variable here, and after that use this variable in this statement. Okay, now result is displaying. And ending statement with the semicolon is not required. So this semicolon is not required, but it is highly recommended to end the statement. Okay, if you put this semicolon, that is nothing but a end of the statement. Okay, but it is not recommended. Okay, the result is displayed. So if you remove this semicolon here, result is displayed. So semicolons separate JavaScript statement. Okay, so that compulsory we need to use